Okay, welcome back to Music Teacher's Muse. Today we're just going to go over all the basic things and a few extra items you're going to need for doing one-on-one in-person lessons or online. Considering we are in the time of quarantine, COVID-19, a lot of places are not able to do in-person lessons. These still apply. You're just not going to need as many of them, but regardless, I'm going to cover everything. Okay, because you don't want to leave anything important out. So first thing we have is a music stand. This one is a plastic one I got at Guitar Center, and it raises up. It's adjustable. You know, any music stand you have should be. You can tilt it forward and backward, etc. It's even got these little tabs that if the sheet falls forward or you got a big book on there, it'll hold it up there for you. And I'm 6'2" and it goes up as I can have it at eye level. So it's a good one. It's good and sturdy, and you can fold it up and carry it in a bag. Can't do that with a metal one. And for certain safety reasons and instrument care, metal can be not so great. So depending on the environment you're in, like if you're at a store, the store I teach at, they have metal ones, but I like this one better. Next thing you're going to need on hand at all times is tab sheets, chord charts, fretboard diagrams, blank paper, and then I have a lesson log chart here that just gives you the date, the previous assignment, and the new assignment, so that you have something to write down for your student to practice. Because unless you give them that, they're going to forget what you told them to practice unless you have them write it down. Not put it in a phone, on an app, write it down with a writing utensil. Because people just don't do that anymore, but you remember things better when you do that, no matter how old you get. I'm old school, this is how I do it. Okay. Fretboard diagram. This is for teaching students scale patterns or theory like intervals or anything of that nature. Blank sheet of paper. Just several. You don't have a notebook or a stack of blank paper. Doesn't have to be lined like this, but like if I'm writing something like a theoretical thing, like the notes in a scale or whatever it may be, or just practicing tips that don't fit on the tab sheet, I'll put it on there for them. Just general information. Chord chart, because you're going to run through these and tab sheets like crazy. Make sure you have at least 4 or 5 in a row on the chord chart. This is usually how you find them. Sometimes they're a little bit different. Make sure everything's really detailed when you give it to the student. That's the next lesson. And then when you have the tab sheet, I've seen a bunch of tab sheets. Sometimes you have the chord diagrams over the top. Sometimes you have the smaller ones, but get the biggest space tab you can get, because it's really hard to get it. Like if you're writing out chords where you have to have the notes stacked on top of each other, it's just harder for the student to see. And this makes everything easier. Make sure you have plenty of all that on hand. You're going to run through chord charts and especially tab sheets really fast. If you have any decent volume of students, you're going to burn through them good. So either have a copier or buy a big book full of tab sheets and chord charts, because you're going to go through a lot of them. And when you're writing those out, you're going to need a pencil. Have a few of these on hand. Have an extra eraser in case the one on the pencil gets whittled down to nothing. And a pencil sharpener. Pens suck, because you're going to have to erase, because you're going to put the wrong thing on the sheet, or the student is going to say, what is that? It doesn't look like this number. Like a 3 might look like an 8, or a 1 might look like a 7, depending on how you write it. My handwriting is pretty much crap, but when it comes to this, I take my time and make sure that the student can read it easily. But you're going to make mistakes. You're going to need a pencil. Don't use a pen. There is no purpose for that. If you want to, by all means, go ahead, but don't say I didn't warn you, because you're going to not want to do that. Next thing you might need on hand for students who have Floyd Rose guitars, or if you have your own. If you have a Floyd Rose guitar and you don't have a set of Allen wrenches, I don't know what the hell you got one for, because you need them to adjust, change strings, and do general maintenance on it. But a lot of students, they don't know what they're doing with those, so you have to teach them how to tune them. just as far as with the fine tuners and the lock nut and all that. So just have a set of Allen wrenches. You only need a 3mm Allen wrench. This is an Ibanez Prestige tool, and this is specifically for Ibanez, but you can use it on any Floyd Rose guitar because it's got the size of wrench you need in it. But this has just got all the wrenches at once. But you only need a 3mm Allen wrench for that. We'll just have that on hand. Next thing you might want to have on hand is polishing cloth and some polish. This is F1 guitar polish from Music Nomad. Music Nomad stuff is the best guitar care stuff I've used. It's actually even smells nice, goes on there real good. You don't need this for teaching, but students don't tend, especially kids, to take care of their instruments super well. They get gunked up, they look nasty, and it just, parents appreciate it, and it shows them that you show them how to care for their instrument, because you have to teach them that. They don't automatically respect it. It's something that comes with being a teacher most of the time. Next thing you're going to want to have is a metronome and an auxiliary cable. Now this is kind of, well, I'm old school, so the reason I have a physical metronome, I just like it better. I can use an app, but if you have the app, unless you're using Bluetooth with whatever amp that connects with that, you're going to want to have an auxiliary cable so you can plug this into the amp that you're using, because it's real hard to hear. Like with my phone, I have a Galaxy S9. It's hard to hear the app over the guitar, depending on the volume of the instrument. This thing, you can plug it in, turn it up as loud as you need it to be. And I just like physical product better. Apps do everything, but you know, sometimes I just like the way it operates more, and there's not 1,000 menus. I can get what I need it to do quick. And also you're gonna need a tuner. I don't have a physical tuner. Almost nobody uses one anymore for lessons. I have a pedal tuner. I swear by a Boss TU2. But for lessons, I use the Guitar Tuna app most of the time. I don't have a physical tuner with me right now, but I do recommend one all the time because it is more accurate. But people don't want to spend money these days. They're gonna just download an app. So as long as they can get the thing in tune or reasonably well in tune, that's the only thing you have to worry about. The next thing you're going to want to have is a 3-ring binder to put all your teaching materials in, you know, chord charts, tab sheets, whatever. Your own practicing materials, I put everything in one. The binder I stupidly put it on top of my car, and it's gone forever because I took off work from it a few months ago, sadly. But make sure your students get one of these too. They will not do it most of the time. Buy a few of these. This cost $1 if you're a private teacher, or if you teach at a store, depending. Just give it to them. It's worth it because it'll make your life a lot easier. Because if you tell them to go to Walmart and get a binder, they're not going to do it. 9 times out of 10, actually higher than that, because they just won't. And then they'll fold the pages in half, instant aneurysm, and they will fall off of the stand like this, because they just do. That's what it does. Or worse, they'll fold it in 4, and then they'll have to do, or they'll just crumple it up, or they'll stuff it in their gig bag, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's going to piss you off, guaranteed. Also, 3-ring hole puncher, or 3-hole puncher. That way you can just do this for them, put it in the binder for them. Yes, you want to do that because they won't do it. I'm not being a dick, this is fact. We want to teach, we want to educate, we want to inspire, but we also want to make our job as easy as possible. And this comes from years of experience. You can't say it clearly enough to where they understand and actually follow the directions. They are kids, most of them. Next thing you want to have is a capo. This is actually the first one I've ever bought. These drive me nuts, but you're going to have to use them sometime for Taylor Swift or John Denver or whoever, or singer-songwriter stuff, because it's something people use all the time. So just have one on hand. You might want a ruler, so in case you do run out of tab sheets, you can, you know, make sure they're accurate and put that on the blank paper so you can make your own tabs if you have to, or chord charts, same thing. And last but not least, hand sanitizer and cleaning wipes. No. In the times of COVID, I've found that hand sanitizer is, again, once readily available. Cleaning wipes have not been so easy to find, but kids and people in general, They carry germs, especially kids. They're going to get you sick sometime if you do enough in-person lessons. I guarantee that'll happen. But just keep it handy so you can, clean your own hands and keep whatever they have touched clean. And aside from the obvious, you need a separate amp and cable for the student. The last item on the list is, I don't have extra picks right here, but you want to have a pile, or just get a small bag, like a dozen, have no less than a dozen extra picks on you at any given time that are just picks you don't care about, because students are going to forget theirs. They will. They always do. It's common sense. Bring a guitar pick to a guitar lesson, but they don't do it. They don't put picks with their case or with their gig bag. And they often forget to give the picks back. Some kids use the pick as a chew toy, and you sure as hell don't want it back after they do that. But that's the thing. So just have them on hand. Trust me. Just put them on top of the amp. That way, when they say, "Can I borrow a pick?" So there's a bunch of them right there, because you don't, especially if you have expensive picks that you like, you don't want to let students use them. So if I left anything out that you can think of, please make a comment in the section below. And we will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Please click the subscribe button, hit the bell. See you next time.